Some wounds don't bleed. They don't leave scars you can point to or stories you easily tell. They grow quietly inside children who learn very early that love wasn't guaranteed. And the hardest part? Many adults carrying these wounds don't even realize where their pain started. If you've ever felt emotionally empty for no clear reason, if you struggle with self-worth, relationships, or parenting, even though you're doing everything right, this video might finally explain why. And please stay with me until the end, because there is hope here. Real hope. If you care about raising emotionally healthy children or healing parts of yourself that were never fully held, subscribe to this channel. This is a safe space for you. If you're watching this as a parent, constantly worried you're not doing enough, let me say this gently, you are not failing. And if you're watching this as an adult who grew up feeling unseen, unheard, or emotionally alone, nothing was wrong with you. You didn't imagine it. You weren't too sensitive. You were responding to an environment that lacked emotional safety. And millions of people grow up this way, quietly, without anyone ever naming it. Because emotional neglect doesn't always look like cruelty. Sometimes, it looks like silence. Let me tell you a story about Daniel. Daniel grew up in a home where food was on the table and clothes were clean. His parents worked hard. They provided. From the outside, everything looked fine. But when Daniel cried, no one asked why. When he was scared, he was told to be strong. When he needed comfort, he learned to stop asking. So he adapted. He became the easy child. The quiet one. The one who didn't cause trouble. And what no one realized was that Daniel wasn't strong, he was surviving. Fast forward to adulthood. Daniel has a job, responsibilities, even a family of his own. But inside, something feels off. He struggles to trust people. He feels anxious in close relationships. He constantly wonders if he's enough. And for years, he thought this was just who he was. Until one day, a simple question stopped him cold. What if the problem isn't you, but what you never received? And this is where the lifelong effects of not being loved as a child begin to reveal themselves. The first effect shows up in emotional regulation. Children learn how to understand and manage emotions through connection. When a child is comforted, their nervous system learns safety. When they're ignored or dismissed, their body learns something else. So Daniel grew up not knowing how to process feelings. He either shut them down completely or felt overwhelmed by them. As an adult, he didn't cry easily. But when he did, it felt uncontrollable. He didn't get angry often. But when he did, it surprised even him. He wasn't broken. He was never taught that emotions were safe. And here's what most people don't realize, this pattern doesn't fade with time. It follows you. The second effect appears in relationships. Children who don't feel love don't stop needing love. They just stop believing it's reliable. So they grow into adults who fear abandonment, even when no one is leaving. They may cling tightly, afraid of being forgotten. Or they may push people away before anyone gets too close. Daniel wanted connection deeply. But intimacy felt dangerous. Every argument felt like rejection. Every silence felt like loss. And this often shows up in parenting too. Parents who weren't loved as children often carry a quiet fear. What if I mess this up the same way it was messed up for me? Stay with me, because this next effect is one of the most painful and the most common. The third lifelong effect is low self-worth. Not because anyone said, you're worthless. But because no one said, you matter. Children don't need grand speeches. They need presence. Attention. Emotional warmth. When that's missing, a belief forms silently. I must not be important. So Daniel grew up trying to earn love. By being helpful. By being successful. By never needing too much. As an adult, he overworked. He people-pleased. He stayed in situations that drained him because he didn't believe he deserved better. And if this feels familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. Your worth was never supposed to be earned. But here's the part most parents never expect, and it's especially important during pregnancy and early parenthood. The fourth effect is how this pain quietly passes to the next generation. Adults who didn't feel loved often want to give their children everything they never had. But unresolved pain has a way of leaking out. It can look like emotional distance, not because you don't care, but because closeness feels unfamiliar. It can look like overwhelming guilt, because you're terrified of repeating the past. It can even begin during pregnancy when anxiety, stress, and fear of not bonding right take over. And if you're a parent or expecting right now, please hear this. Awareness changes everything. The fact that you are thinking about this already means the cycle is breaking. And here's what matters most, not perfection, but presence is. So what can you do? First, Choose presence over perfection. Your child doesn't need you to have all the answers. They need you to notice them. To listen. To make eye contact. To sit with their feelings instead of rushing to fix them. Second, understand that repair matters more than mistakes. You will get tired. You will snap sometimes. You will feel overwhelmed. What heals children is not a flawless parent, but a parent who comes back and says, "I'm sorry. Let's try again." And finally, allow yourself to heal too. You are allowed to grieve what you didn't receive. You are allowed to learn love later in life. You are allowed to need support. Healing is not weakness. It is courage. Because love is not something you either have or don't have. It's something that can be learned. And relearned. If you weren't loved the way you needed as a child, it was not your fault. And if you are trying, every single day, to love your child better than you were loved, you are already doing something powerful. You are breaking a cycle that lasted generations. What part of this video spoke to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear tonight. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.